AC balance and frequency adjustments. What does the balance do and what does the frequency do? Your balance on your AC is going to be your penetration and cleaning. So your penetration comes from the electronegative side, which is the tungsten. So on the negative side, the negative current on AC flows from the electrode towards the base metal, and that's what creates penetration. The cleaning is the positive current lifting from the surface of the base metal upwards towards the electrode through the surface oxide, and it strips the surface oxide barrier and allows the electronegative side to penetrate into the base metal. Frequency adjustment. So that's where you're going to be controlling your AC hertz. On your welder, you're gonna have both your balance adjustment, which is the balance between the EP and the EN on the AC cycle, and you're going to have a frequency adjustment measured in hertz, which is how many cycles from positive to negative per second does it change. Something I typically run is 132 hertz. This is a setting that generally gives me a really good stability on the AC and allows me to isolate the puddle and get really good control for a wide range of thicknesses on material. If I'm going to run thicker material or thinner material, I will adjust this accordingly. When I'm running thick material, I want to lower that frequency, and so I can run this down towards 66 hertz. So a baseline transformer welder is always going to be running at 60 hertz or 50 hertz, depending on what power supply you have coming from the wall. Typically in the US, we're going to be running off of 60 hertz if you're running a transformer. With an inverter machine, we get a lot wider range of control. So 66 hertz is typically the lower end side of the AC that I will run on my inverter. I run at 66 hertz because I find that that's just slightly more comfortable than running at 60 hertz. You can hear it, that's what creates the AC buzz, which is kind of annoying to some people, but this just kind of smooths that out a little bit better and it just feels more comfortable. If I'm going to run something that's super thin, I typically go to 231 hertz, and that's going to give me an extreme control and stability on thinner gauge materials. When you increase the hertz, frequency from the positive and the negative side is alternating so fast that it compresses the arc and it gives you this insane amount of stability. And so if I'm gonna run like 16 gauge material or thinner, this is a section from a piece of aluminum tubing that I've cut and flattened out, and it has a deep penetration profile on this backside and a really flat bead profile on the top side. And I was able to run this with extreme control at 231 hertz. If I'm going to run something like 3/16 aluminum, then I'm gonna drop that frequency down so I can get a deeper penetrating profile. It's gonna be less isolated, but when you have a slower change from the positive and the negative side of the current, it's going to have more duration of current penetrating the metal and more cleaning action. And it's gonna have a heavier impact as that frequency is alternating slower. So thinner material, turn up the hertz; thicker material, turn down the hertz.